What happens if your only YubiKey gets lost, stolen, or thrown into a washing machine? Well, my friend once washed his YubiKey and it was actually fine. But if you lose yours or if it gets stolen, you need to have a backup plan, because if you only set up one hardware security key, that's exactly the kind of scenario that could lock you out of all of your own accounts. So today I'm showing you the correct way to use YubiKeys, which is setting up multiple keys per account. One as your daily driver, and another one as your backup key stored somewhere safe. I will explain what these YubiKeys are, why they are more secure than other 2FA methods, and why you should always set up at least 2 keys, and I'll walk you through how to do it properly. Plus, one of you emailed me after watching some of my YubiKey videos, and your discovery about QR codes and 2FA setups is something that more people really need to know, so I'm going to share that too. I'm going to share it with the class today. What's up, s'mores? I'm Shannon Morse. Welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about consumer tech, privacy, and cybersecurity so you can stay safe while enjoying your devices. And if you enjoy learning about protecting your digital life, make sure to subscribe and join the S'mores squad because we dive into these kind of topics all the time. This video is also made in partnership with YubiKey. I do a lot of educational videos on my channel about YubiKeys, and I have links below to how you can snag a couple of these devices to protect your own accounts. I also have a coupon code, so you can use that on their website. Now, if you want to upgrade your own account security, I highly recommend grabbing a couple of these, one primary and one as a backup. I've got links down below to get started. You can also visit yubi.co/Shannon-2024 for $5 off a key, and you can also grab these at Best Buy or yubico.com/store. So first things first, what in the world is a YubiKey? Now, if this is your first time here, a YubiKey is a hardware security key made by a company called YubiKey. It's a tiny physical device that you plug into your computer. It actually looks like a flash drive, but it's not. Or you can tap it against your phone and it acts as proof that you are who you say you are. So instead of typing in a code from an app, the login process looks something like this. You enter your username and password, you plug in or you tap your YubiKey, you touch the gold sensor on the key, and boom, you are authenticated. The key uses standards like FIDO2 and WebAuthn, which means the authentication is cryptographic and phishing resistant. So even if somebody tricks you into visiting a fake website, the key will not authenticate because it knows the real domain. That's a huge security advantage and something that makes these better than just using 2FA codes that you get as a text message. Now, speaking of which, let's compare this to the other most common 2FA options. The first one of these is SMS codes. Now, these are text messages that you get on your phone. These are going to be the least secure 2FA method. Attackers could steal them through SIM swap attacks and phone carrier social engineering attacks. So while SMS is going to be better than nothing, it's definitely not going to be ideal. Authenticator apps that you can download is an upgrade from SMS codes. YubiKey even makes the YubiKey Authenticator app for any of those websites that do not support hardware keys. Apps are way better than SMS. They generate time-based codes that change every 30 seconds or so. There's still going to be weaknesses, like you could be phished into entering the code, malware can potentially steal tokens, and if your phone dies or it gets wiped, recovery can be very annoying. But this is where YubiKeys really shine. They provide phishing-resistant authentication, hardware-based cryptography, no codes to type in, no shared secrets that could be intercepted, and it's why I personally recommend them whenever possible. You should never rely on just one hardware key though. Instead, the best practice is to have one primary key and then you have a separate backup key. So your primary key stays with you on your keychain, in your laptop bag, or attached to your phone, and then your backup key should be stored somewhere safe, like a safe at home, a lockbox, a trusted off-site location. Because if you lose your only key and it's the only authentication method that you registered, you could be locked out of your accounts entirely. Now, some websites do offer recovery options like backup codes, identity verification, in, a slew of support tickets, a long wait for customer service to actually do something, assuming they will actually help you. So setting up a second key ahead of time is going to be a lot easier than having to go through all of those options. So this is where I want to share an email that I got from you. This is from Jordan D, who wrote in after watching my 30-day security challenge and doing a full security audit, which, Jordan, I have to give props to you because doing a security audit takes a long time and a lot of patience, but way to go. But then he shared some really smart observations. So Jordan mentioned that he started keeping a spreadsheet of his accounts. And honestly, what a fantastic idea. Password managers are pro for storing your passwords, but a spreadsheet can help track things like which accounts already have 2FA enabled, which ones support hardware keys, which ones have backup keys already registered, and you can create your own checklist as you're updating the security on authentication methods for each profile. When you start managing multiple security keys, that can make life a whole lot easier. Jordan also recommends using the color stickers that YubiKey provides on their website. These are sold separately, but they're cute little stickers that are cut perfectly, so you can just stick them on your YubiKeys, or you could just color code them yourself with markers. So that would let you label security keys like primary key, backup key, travel key, and if you ever upgrade your keys, that will let you know which one is old and which one is new. So that's a super simple way to stay organized. Now this next point is really interesting. Jordan said he avoids saving QR codes for 2FA setup. He said, quote, "I noticed that some websites will show you the same setup QR code every time you activate 2FA, while some will generate a unique one every time. Now, this is a significant flaw because if your QR code is ever compromised, then it is compromised forever, and there's nothing you can do about it unless the website or service changes their QR code generation protocol. Some people, like myself included, save the QR code so they can easily add additional devices later, but that QR code is basically the secret key behind your authentication. So if somebody got access to it, they could generate your login codes. It's important to keep that QR code extremely secure, but his advice was instead just temporarily disable and re-enable 2FA to generate a new setup code when needed instead of storing those QR codes. I think that's a wonderful option, so thank you so much to Jordan for writing in. I love it when folks send in their own security tips. And as you can see, there are multiple ways that you can develop your own security protocols based on your own threat modeling. So it's really important to look at all the different options available to you. Okay, so I have my laptop down here. I want to walk through the process. Many major services already support YubiKeys, and you can actually find a list on their website, yubiko.com/workswithyubikey, and there's a catalog here. I'll put the link down below. If you're unsure if the website you're logging into uses YubiKeys, you can log into your settings to see if there's an option under security or account to add two-factor or multi-factor authentication. If they do support YubiKeys, it will usually say something like physical key, security key, hardware token, pass key, use a USB key, YubiKeys, etc. All of them kind of list it differently, so you have to use context clues to figure out which websites actually accept them and which ones don't. Today, I am setting up two YubiKeys on a password manager, and I'm going to use Bitwarden for this example, as well as my personal VPN, which is Proton VPN. So let's start with Proton VPN. You will log into the web interface in your browser to add security keys, go to account and password, then scroll down to two-factor authentication. Toggle the setting to on, type in your passcode, and then insert your first security key here and click continue. You will need to touch the security key to activate it with Proton, then give your key a name and click continue. Now, Proton does warn you that if you disable your authenticator app or other form of 2FA, some devices may not support a hardware key. But a loophole to this is to use the YubiKey authenticator app to get a 6-digit code as a backup. You could keep your YubiKey authenticator app locked up tight with a YubiKey. That way, you are still protecting your account in the best way possible, even if you do have to keep an authenticator app available. I made a whole video about the YubiKey authenticator app and how to use it to set up 6-digit 2FA codes for sites. It's useful not only as a backup option, but also for sites that don't support YubiKeys yet. yet. Now to set up your second security key on Proton VPN, click New Security Key, enter your password, and then insert your primary security key again. Authenticate by pressing down on the gold touch interface on the YubiKey. That just proves that you're a human who's actually using the key. Unplug it once it registers, then insert the new one. Click Continue, touch the security key, then name your backup key. Click Continue, and then done. You are all set, you're done. All right, now let's set up two keys on a password manager. I am using Bitwarden in this example. You log into the web dashboard in your browser and you click on Settings, Security, then choose the two-step login menu. Scroll down to the YubiKey OTP security key setting. Also, pro tip here, you can also use passkeys on this website, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so click Manage, type in your password, read the warning about having a backup 2FA option like using the YubiKey Authenticator app, then scroll down. Bitwarden is a little bit different than Proton here. On this site, you will need to plug in your YubiKey, click into the input field under YubiKey 1, touch the YubiKey's gold touch interface, and save. Now, the data that you see filling into that field is called the YubiKey OTP, or one-time password. It's not random, it's basically a cryptographic signature for your YubiKey. Now, unplug your primary key and plug in the backup key, then click inside the text field for YubiKey 2. Click the gold touch input and it will fill in the cryptographic signature in that line. Click Save and Close and you're now done. Now, before you close down your computer, this is very important. Test them both. Log out of your accounts, try logging in with both keys. Once you have made sure that they both work, store your backup key in a safe place and put your primary key wherever you need it accessible. Now, if for any reason your primary key goes missing, you can always grab your backup key. You can log in and disable or remove that primary one, and eventually just make sure that you replace that primary key so you go back to having two again. So I think security keys are easily one of the best upgrades you can make to your personal security setup. Yes, it does mean you have to purchase some devices up front, but that's a one-time cost. You don't have to replace them again unless you lose them. But like any security tool, they're gonna work best when used correctly. So just remember to use hardware keys when possible, register multiple keys per account, store your backup key safely, and just periodically audit your security setup. Thank you so much again to YubiKey for partnering with me on this video. Do not forget to snag a couple of YubiKeys at Best Buy or yubico.com/store. And if you do use the yubico.com store, I do have that coupon code, which is linked down below. Now, I want to hear from you down in the comments. Do you currently use hardware security keys like YubiKeys, or are you still relying on authenticator apps? And if you do use them, how many keys do you have set up? I usually just stick with 2. I find that to be easy and reliable, but I would love to know what you think in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.